Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. Parker from Computers. I thought I'd read you a book today. It's called When Charlie McButton Lost Power. Does he look happy or kind of overwhelmed? Let's see. By Suzanne Collins and illustrated by Mike Lester. Well, let me see. Charlie McButton had likes and like-nots. The things that he liked involved handsets and bots, computerized games where he battled bad creatures. The things he liked not didn't have blow-up features. Ooh. One day, a thunderstorm blew into town and brought his tech empire tumbling down. A lightning bolt struck an electrical tower, and Charlie McButton, his whole world lost power. Look at him with all of his stuff. He plays all of that in his bedroom, and then that lightning bolt took it out. He doesn't look very happy, does he? Let's see what happens. He looked left, he looked right, and his heart filled with dread. The TV, the lights, his clock were all dead. He jumped to his feet, his lungs gasping for air. The room spun around, and he clung to his chair. Oh my. He tried to cry help, but just managed to squeak. The blackout had blacked out his power to speak. Thank goodness his mother had ears like a bat. She came to his room, and she gave him a pat. Help. Does your mom ever pat your head or your dad? Oh, Charlie, she said, picking up his fears, the lights will come back when the bad weather clears. You'll have to find something without plugs to play. Read a book, clean your room, sing a song, model clay. Oh. Could anything be duller than clay, he said, soggy gray clay on a soggy gray day. He hated the way clay got into his fingernails and how he could only make snowmen and snails. I actually like clay. Look at him. He just doesn't know what to do without all of his technology. He dove for a gadget he'd outgrown last spring. It was handheld, outdated, not much of a thing. He clutched the old toy like a lifeline that day. It ran on one battery, the size AAA. He flicked on and off the switch, but happy humming sounds followed by a click. He unlatched a hatch and his blood turned to ice. The battery is gone from my backup device. Oh, he looks so frustrated. Oh my gosh, no battery in there. Let's see what happens. World records were set in the 10-meter dash. As away down the hallway, he flew like a flash, seeking one battery, just one AAA, that would rescue one boy from a gray, gray day of clay. But just when his search nearly drove him insane, he ran past the bedroom of Isabel Jane. His 3-year-old sister was happily walking a doll back and forth, and the doll was talking. Oh, let's see. He spies a doll talking. What do you think he's going to do? He's thinking. Now, dolls didn't talk on their own as a rule. They needed a power source. Some kind of fuel. In less than a second, he'd made the decision. Call it bad judgment or a real lack of vision. Somehow his head didn't warn of his folly, and Charlie McButton pounced on that dolly. Oh, I think he's getting into trouble here now. A little naughty, huh? He's taken something from the sister. He plucked out his prize, drew the baby doll's dress, and Isabel Jane made a sound of distress. Look at her. You can almost hear that. It was just a short walk to the foot of the stair where resided the McButton time chair. To add to the fun of his term in the seat, Isabel Jane came to play at his feet. And Isabel Jane, the battery queen, had more triple A's than he'd ever seen. Oh, look at what she's doing. She sees him in timeout, and she's saying, hey, I've got more batteries. Do your brothers or sisters ever taunt you when you're naughty? They powered her puppies, they powered her clocks, they powered her talkative alphabet clocks. Assaulted by nonstop mechanical chatter, Charlie McButton got madder and madder. Oh, she's got everything running. Wow. He snapped at his sis from his timeout zone. How come you can't ever just leave me alone? Oh, look at that face. Her eyes filled with tears and she gave them a rub. She went to the bathroom and hid in the tub. Oh my. She looks very sad. Then Charlie McButton felt totally rotten and couldn't help thinking some things he'd forgotten. Look how little he is in his chair. You know, he feels bad. When you feel bad about something, do you feel small in your chair? I do. Mainly he thought that for sisters that toddle, Isabel Jane was a pretty good model. She clearly adored him. She didn't have fleas. At dinner, she'd secretly eat all his peas. Very kind. Oh. And sometimes, although he'd mostly deny it, he liked to just sit there beside her in quiet, wrapped up in a blanket, watching TV, her head on his shoulder, her foot on his knee. Do you ever do that with your siblings? Watch some TV? Siblings are so special. He sat and he thought and he stared at the rain. When his timeout was done, he found Isabel Jane. Where did he find her? Maybe in the bathroom? From the edge of the tub, she gave him a peek. So he said, "Hey, are we playing hide and go seek?" So now he wants to play. He looks happy. Let's see. She was happy at once and ran to the hall. She loved playing hide and go seek most of all. They took turns being it and counting to 10. They hid in the plants and the guinea pig pen. Oh, look at them. Looks like they're having so much fun. And when he found Isabel Jane in her quilt, they decided a big blanket fort should be built. Then the gloom made him think about dragons and spells. Do you ever build a fort at your house? Look at all their blankets. You put it over your furniture on a gloomy, rainy day. So Charlie became the great wizard Mr. McSmells, and Isabel Jane, who desired a role, magically changed to his faithful old troll. Look at them pretending. What does she have on her head? That looks like something from the kitchen. They are having too much fun. Between tracking down dragons, blowing up lizards, handling the day-to-day business of wizards, like forging his faithful old trolls a new sword, Charlie McButton forgot to be bored. At supper, they ate under real candlelight. The daytime had melted right into the night, and after they'd been asleep for an hour, the world came alive with a big surge of power. Oh, it's finally back, Charlie thought with a grin. Tomorrow I'll wake up and I can plug in. But another thought hit him that he couldn't explain. Look how everything turned back on. I might also find dragons with Isabel Jane. So you see, boys and girls, he decided that actually having the power and being unplugged was kind of cool. It can be fun. See you next time.